Brooke and The Bell, Brooke Thomas, Sean Bell, two friends who don't agree on anything when it comes to Insecure. And Sean's shirt, honestly,
It's facts. That's all I can tell you. Pure facts. Never have we ever. Never have we ever.
his shirt is so raggedy.
Not once.
But I appreciate the comedy, so I'm not even going to be too mad at you.
And Tristan Thompson's from Canada, so he don't count.
He's Jamaican, though. That's black, though.
Wait a minute. I'm Jamaican. Jamaicans don't cheat either.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's Jamaican.
I'm Jamaican. Jamaicans don't cheat either.
Go talk to your representative, okay? He's
wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, whoever you may have come across in your past, I don't think they did it. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't have a past. Okay, so
I don't have a past. Okay.
Okay. I mean, we can definitely agree that this is a good season of Insecure. What are we, 3 episodes in?
Yes.
We're 3 episodes in, and it was Prentice Penny, right? The showrunner, Insecure showrunner. I follow his tweets during the episodes, and like the day after, I mean, like we both follow his tweets, but just the day after, he tweets like insider info, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he had said that episode 1 was in Issa's perspective,
mm-hmm.
2 was in Molly's, and episode 3 is in Lawrence's perspective. And I do have to admit that out of all 3, I loved episode 3. I like this show, but episode 3 was like, let's go.
Yeah, we got into the drama ASAP in this one, and it was throughout the entire thing.
So a lot of things happened. We kind of, the first episode and the second episode, we kind of like, there was like a battle between Molly and Issa. And this third episode, the two of them are acknowledging this battle and both of their parts in it. And I think I was so heavily team Issa that I didn't even realize until this third episode. I agree with you. There was something that you were saying, we disagreed last recap. And you were right. It is both of them. And it is in how they speak to each other. There's so much truth in what they say to each other that it's hard to remember that how they speak to each other when giving advice, when being upset, is not coming off loving at all this season. Molly and Issa.
I don't even think they were trying to give each other good advice at the end of the day.
No, they were taking digs and intentionally, for sure.
Yeah, like it started off right away, and every time, like I said before, it was, you said something that sort of bothered me, I'm gonna say something right back. Like, I'm not even gonna try to give you advice on your situation. I'm gonna come right back at you. And it, again, right off the top of the episode, they're in the grocery store and they're taking digs at each other.
Like nasty digs at each other.
Yes. And I know, and listen, we've all been in these situations, so I think this is why we all relate. But to have someone keep saying the same dig at you, it's like poking that same wound. Like, all right, we're not going to keep going there. Because Issa keeps going. You want everything to be a mess in response to everything. And now I know Molly was like, all right, that's going to be the last time you're going to say that to me. And then
because it wasn't even warranted in this situation, because now you have Molly, who's in a somewhat healthy, as healthiest at least that we've seen in a really long time with Molly. And sorry, my ceiling fan is acting like it has superpowers now.
It does, man. Let it go. Let it go.
Right. But in like the healthiest relationship that we've seen Molly be in a very long time. Mm-hmm. And we saw how they came out of that argument, her and Andrew, how they came out of that argument, this last kind of argument, and things are going well. And so she asked her best friend if she should invite him to Thanksgiving. And also, remember, Thanksgiving is going to be rough for her. She is irrationally, unnecessarily, too much minded somebody else's business, but upset at her father and needing to work through that. So it's a big deal for her. It's going to be an uncomfortable day. And she wants to invite this guy that she's really feeling and that things are going well. And honestly, I don't see a problem with it. If he doesn't want to come or if it's too soon, then he can say no. I mean, but also it was going to be like a chill, fun day. Her brothers are cool. Her parents are cool. Go have fun. And Issa's like, no, you don't want to mess things up. You can't mess things up with somebody that you're rocking with by inviting them to a fun night with your family.
I think anytime you do that, it's the message I do think it's the message that you want to send to the other. Because if you invite someone to Thanksgiving, normally that's you are something to me.
Right.
So if you're inviting that person, just be aware of the message you're sending. Now, to Molly, she is serious about him. So that's why I think it's okay to say, hey, no pressure. You know what I mean? It's not like they didn't have to go by as a couple. Right. Hey, you can stop by the crib and hang out if you want. And Issa, I feel like, real quick, when two friends are in a different place in their lives, I think they need to realize and understand that the other person can be in a different place and it be okay. Mm-hmm. It's almost like Issa was saying, I won't do that. Like, I'm at the place in my life where that's not fathomable, so you shouldn't either. So they need to understand they're in different places in their lives, and that's okay. And they could act accordingly.
I also think while Issa may not be in a perfect place in her life, I think she's in a much better place in her life than we've seen just personally throughout the prior 3 seasons. And something one of my best friends, Lavanya, we watch the show together on FaceTime every Sunday. Mm-hmm. She said that she thinks that Issa is like coming to Molly's level in how they treat each other in the friendship, and Molly's staying the same. So like, we all have witnessed, like, they had like a lopsided friendship over the past years. Molly is kind of stank to Issa and kind of like treats her as this like, oh, I'm better than you, and that's just how we are. Uh-huh. And now Issa is fighting back with the same kind of snark. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't it's kind of sort of like mirrors what happened with Lawrence. Like, he wasn't a good boyfriend, and then instead of leaving or talking that out, she just became a bad girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not.
Yeah, I almost think they're trading places.
You think Issa and Molly are?
I think Molly is starting to try to be that good friend and understanding friend.
You do think so?
I think she's trying to. And I think Issa is trying to be the other way. Huh?
So I agree with you that Issa is definitely going the other way, but Molly is still being the same sort of nasty.
But like, the way I've seen it, like, Molly is starting to try to be there for Issa. She's starting to try to hear what she says. But the problem is, every time Issa says something, instead of handling it in the right way, Molly strikes back.
Right, which is the same, like, yes.
Molly. But it's like, I'm trying to be a better person, but you're bringing me into a space where I can't help myself. And she should be better than that.
And out of respect, though, for Issa and like the history of their relationship. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
You good?
You got to go from the space that this has never been who you were before, and this sounds like old Molly. So, like, because okay, so Thanksgiving, we get there on Thanksgiving. They threw in like a really fun surprise for us. Trina, the ghetto neighbor. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's wild. Issa's tenant, and Kelly had met. Well, they met at Issa's kind of investors party.
Yeah. When they were wilding out.
Right. Trina was wilding, and she had taken the mic, and she was talking about getting it nasty in there, and then Kelly was like, how nasty? And I guess they became friends after that because Trina showed up at Kelly's Auntie Thanksgiving, and that was hilarious. It took me until after the show to realize who that was that showed up at her door, but it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't see it until Twitter. Like, I wasn't focused in that enough to see that was her.
Yeah.
I thought it was just another cousin or something like that.
Right. This was the first episode this season where I went back and watched 3 scenes. Mm-hmm. I rewatched the scene at the grocery store because there was so much happening that, like, you'll be laughing or gasping and then miss something.
Yeah.
The show is too funny. Mm-hmm. You don't have a second to laugh because then somebody, and it's just, so I had to rewatch the fight in the grocery store. I also had to rewatch Trina showing up at Kelly's house, and then also the conversation between Issa and her brother in the car.
Well,
So we went past the grocery store. We've got like everything going on online. One thing we didn't talk about, while Molly is at Thanksgiving, she doesn't have Andrew there. She took Issa's advice, or I think she probably got a little insecure about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then about something that she's already been generally insecure about.
Uh-huh.
And then she's at her house. She's struggling with her dad. Her brother gets her all the way together. It was great advice.
And the siblings were the rocks in this show.
They absolutely were. That's right. The brothers were. They were killing it. The three brothers.
Yeah,
Molly's two brothers and Issa's brother. So that was like, I love when we get to see Molly's brothers. I think that the actors who play those characters are great. And it's like a perfect family for them.
Yeah.
And she made up with her dad. You saw her bringing him like the sweet potato pie.
Mm-hmm.
But there was that same moment that was kind of both of their personalities, like both of them get in this space where they're selfish. So like Issa, Thanksgiving is rough sometimes. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's rough. It's a lot of family. If you're not in a good space with your family, it could be a rough day. It's always a long day, even when it's a great day. And as I was talking about with a friend, and she kind of pointed out that you oftentimes like have plans after Thanksgiving, especially if you're going to your hometown, and it's very possible that you won't make those plans because Thanksgiving is a really long holiday. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
and she skipped out on, first she delayed it. Issa delayed it. She was having a good time with her brother, and that was important too. Molly was not having a great time at that point with her family, and also really looking forward to this conversation with Issa. Then Issa texts her, and Molly gets disappointed. And I think here's the thing: you can go two ways when plans with a friend don't go your way. You could choose to text them and say, "Hey, is everything okay?" Molly chose not to. She chose to be stank.
You know, and maybe this is my just perspective, but I understand Molly's frustration because of this. Okay. Molly, this is like the third time that Molly tried to get together with Issa one-on-one.
That's true.
And discuss what's going on in their lives and their problems.
That's very true.
Right? So one of the times was, all right, we have a meeting together because we're behind on each other's lives.
Right, we're going to have dinner.
You invite Condola.
Right.
Now we can't have that discussion.
Right, that's true.
Right? So it's like you keep like we have issues. So for you to, at the end of the day, say, I'm not going at all, it's just kind of like, all right, I keep trying to make the effort to resolve whatever we got and to know about each other's lives. And you keep canceling, saying no, or putting a wrench in it. So eventually I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to say whatever, yo, do you.
You're going to be hurt. But here's the thing. I think this is also like, it's a really good like microcosm of their relationship. Like both people have lives and are not thinking about the other person. Because listen, if you can't cancel on your friend on a holiday when both of you initially are spending time with your families, then like, come on, like, what is this friendship?
Yeah, but
then also, if you don't prioritize, it can also be seen as if you don't prioritize a very important talk that we have both made clear is a very important discussion, then what is this friendship? I think I see both sides.
But that's the issue for me.
Both of them are living lives.
If you can cancel whatever, but like, if it's a buildup, like,
right.
If you're not trying to confront these issues after so many times and trying, then, and I'm supposed to be your best friend, then I'm gonna have an issue. Like one thing, because the reason Issa canceled was the advice she got from her brother in the car. That was like, we ain't got to do everything we supposed to do.
Right.
Right. And I feel him on that. And I thought that was great advice. And everybody on Twitter thought, but I didn't think it should be applied to that. I think when you have a regular friend or a friend, you can say, yo, I ain't got to press, we'll get to it. But when it's somebody you feel like is a loved one that's that close to you, you should address the issue as soon as you can. And my beef was in the store. Like, I know I've had these same beefs with friends. Like, we've been taking jabs at each other. As soon as we recognized it, it was like, yo, what's good? Like, let's get into it right now. Let's
because
settle
it's
this.
important to you.
Yeah. Afterwards, you could say, all right, we're taking time from each other. But we settling that joint right there. So as soon as at the grocery store, y'all was like, yo, we got issues. Handle it right there.
But they couldn't because Issa had to leave. She did have work.
Okay.
I mean, come on. Like, she's got to be able to, like, live her life and have a life. Because that has been the dynamic, that she lives Molly's life because her life is worthless. There's nothing that she's happy about or excited about in her life. So she's able to just be Molly's supporting actress.
I get it.
In Molly's world. And this is the year where Issa is the star. I mean, Issa's always the star of the show, but I'm talking about, like, if this were an actual friendship in their life, and this is the moment, and this has been a shift in, like, she has something that's really important to her. She's not going through a breakup, like having a boyfriend that she kind of wants to get away from. She's not dealing with the job that she hates and is only there because she gets paid. She has something that she is looking forward to every day.
Mm-hmm.
Molly has always liked her job. Molly has always liked her life.
No, I mean, she hasn't she likes the money she makes. I mean, she's had plenty of other problems.
I mean, she's had issues, but Molly's happy with her career.
Yeah. I agree, but it's just like, how many times you gonna just not, deal with it? Like,
right. And shoot, in a relationship, Molly was happy being the third wheel in somebody's marriage. Okay, she was happy. Molly was happier being Dro's mistress than Issa was being Lawrence's girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, for at least that 1 year out of 5, but
right. No, for sure. Yeah. That at least the year that we saw. Yeah. But I'm like, initially I wanted to just take Issa's side. I mean, not Issa's side, Molly's side. But then when you pull everything into it, I think that both of them need to give the other a bit of a break. Issa definitely needs to, but that's the problem. That's where the talk needs to happen, because Issa's not realizing the harms that are being caused in the shift in their relationship, right?
I think she realizes it. I just don't think she cares.
I think she knows that they're in a bad place. I don't think she knows that she's a big cause of it.
Yeah, but that's fair. But again,
so it's not that she doesn't care. I don't think she realizes that, like, she's a big part in fixing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I do not think Issa doesn't care about her relationship with Molly. I
think she's starting not to care, honestly. Like, if, again, for me, how I always handle my issues, and I tell everybody, you communicate right away. If you're not communicating right away, how much do you care? I understand, like, something may get in the way. All right, we'll set it aside later. But after how much later, though?
Right, and
later,
also,
week later, 2 weeks later,
so different than I would at this point in my life. Like, if somebody says something nasty to me, I'm more apt to say, "Hey, that was rude. Like, why are you talking to me like that?" Then ignore it, and then to bite back. Like, if we're friends, I'm much more like, I'm just gonna say, like, "Hey, that was rude. Why are you talking to me like that?"
Yeah, like, "Hey, yo, what's up?"
Right, and so
like, what we doing here?
And I expect that from my friends as well, so that I can be like, "Oh shoot, sorry." Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they're just in a weird space with each other, and nothing changed. They both acknowledged that they were feeling off. They finally talked about it, and nothing changed. But
communication solves everything, and they're not communicating.
Exactly. We are spending, though, way too much time on what was not the most entertaining portion of this episode. Let's get to it, okay? Because Lawrence invites himself to Thanksgiving.
Oh, before we go there.
Why did I pronounce her name wrong?
Condola.
Yeah, Condola.
Before we go there, is that an invite yourself?
Yeah, he wasn't invited.
I'm unsure about that.
No. It was an invite yourself. The thing is, invite yourself isn't always the worst thing ever. I think, like, invite yourself is like, has like, it implies that somebody didn't want you to come. But I don't think she didn't want him to come. I think new relationships are tricky, and probably in the same space that Molly's in, she didn't want to do too much.
No, but
she didn't invite him because she didn't want to do too much. But he definitely literally said, "Do you want me to come?"
But that's the phrasing that I don't understand. Like, in a relationship, when somebody has something big on the other side, like when you think you're in a relationship, let me say that. I feel like that's normally the one, like, oh, you got something big. You good? You need me to come? I don't feel like that's inviting yourself. I feel like
right, but
inviting yourself is, yo, I'm coming. That's invite yourself to me. Asking somebody like, you need me there? Are we good? Like, I'll come if you want. Like, to me, that's not inviting yourself.
Yeah, but a Thanksgiving party is not something that like needs support. So it's not like she got an award and he was like, do you need me to be there for you? She was having a party that he did not have an invite to. And he looked at her and said, do you want me to come? If she had ample time.
To me, that's not inviting yourself. That's asking. You can say no, and I'll have no hard feelings. Like, nah, we good. This is something we do as a group every year.
I think that we're saying the same thing, and that technically it is all inviting yourself. But the implication of saying someone invites themselves is usually that they're not wanted and they force themselves. It turns out he was wanted, but he was not invited. He was not going to be invited. He asked if he could come, and she said yes.
He did not ask if he could come. See, words matter.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. To come. If you saying, he would have said, yo, I want to come. That's that. He said, do you want me to come?
Which implied that he wanted to come.
Huh? It definitely implies that you want to come. But
right, also, she hadn't invited him. So he didn't.
But I'm saying inviting yourself makes it seem like someone forcefully or put themselves on you. When you're asking someone a question,
why are we arguing
forcibly.
Why are we arguing this? We literally agree. What I'm saying is that the like colloquial implication is that that's someone who isn't supposed to be there. That's not what happened. But the truth of the matter was he was not invited. He was not going to be invited. She had already invited the people that were supposed to be invited. He was not invited. Instead of taking that and moving along with it, he then invited himself.
Again, I don't feel like I can't. The reason why I'm fighting this so hard is because I know what Lawrence is thinking in a male mind. Oh, it's like, whatever the implication is, you forced this upon me. I didn't want.
But it's not. But I'm saying that I think
what it
all
feels
agree.
Like. I'm saying
that's not what it was. But we're talking about the technical definition of what happened.
Yeah, again, I still want to say it'd be technically that.
So look at it this way. She had already made her decision about who was coming to her house. Why couldn't he just keep that as is?
It could have been kept as is. He asked the question.
But why did he have to? And honestly, be honest.
Because they thought they were in a relationship.
This is where invite yourself comes into play. If you're dating somebody, okay, you already have your invites out. It is clear that they are not invited. If they then, knowing that, ask on top of that if you want them to come, how would he feel if she said no?
It wouldn't have felt good.
Exactly. And so
it's still not a force. It's still not asking.
No. She's not in a position. She doesn't want to make him feel bad. She did not invite him, but she doesn't want to now make him feel bad about it. And he put her in a position, he cornered her.
We all grown-ups.
Right. And a grown-up should be able to take like what life is and keep going with it, right? It could go both ways. What I'm saying is that it's okay that he invited her himself.
Again, I reject that, but we can move on.
Okay, let's move on. She also said it too, just so we're clear. But anyway, so
I know I disagree with her, but
okay. So they're at her house. It's great. He watched the worst video ever possible on YouTube to fix something. Listen, I've had, guys take out trash for you. They'll like do the dishes after you cook. This is like new dating, right? But like I've never had a guy offer to be like a repairman around my home. Wait. I was like, oh.
I mean, that sounds great, but like, why do it? Like, why? Just say you don't know how to. Like, he was trying to. He was trying to be a good partner.
It was really cute. He offered to do something that he had no knowledge of, and it turned out to it wasn't a good ending, but I thought it was really sweet. I thought it was really sweet. They had a good time. Robin Thede played a hilarious drunk friend. You didn't.
Can we just say I would have left Condola based on her friends. Her friends are whack.
Her friends are
and
whack.
and boring. I would have been like, all right, bro.
Whack and boring. I completely agree with you. Except Robin Thede was funny.
Yeah, I guess, but it's
if
funny
her other friends weren't boring, I would have enjoyed Robin. I did enjoy Robin, but if I can't think of whatever Robin's character's name was, but Robin wasn't whack. She was funny.
Yeah, she was funny because we were watching. If we were in that room, we'd have been like, yo, you annoying.
I think I would have still enjoyed it. If everybody else was fun and there was this one drunk person who just kept being, it would have been funny. Because, I mean, it's one day out of life. Like, yeah, I would have enjoyed it. Okay. It would have been entertaining. Like, yo, your friend is wild. You hated it. I don't know. I thought, okay, so, but what got super annoying is that he didn't know that Condola had been married and divorced.
I think he did. I thought he did. I thought he just didn't.
Okay, so maybe that's
I think he just didn't know that she didn't want to be married.
She wasn't the one who did the breaking up.
Yeah, but he didn't know she didn't want to be married again.
Right. That was a rough thing to bust out, say, at a party when you're dating somebody new.
Yeah.
But she's also totally allowed to live her truth. It was just a really weird. It would have made, I think, anybody uncomfortable. Like, I
think Lawrence through that night just got a lot of shocking realizations about who he is to her, and that's why they had the blow up, because I guess they were not on the same page on what they wanted and who they were to each other.
Lawrence has been trying to get over Issa for the past 3 seasons, and I know you're not going to agree, but the weird irrational fights. Remember the girl that he worked with? She was super cool, and he just like backed her into a corner, and he was weird and unnecessarily jealous. How he treated Tasha. Now we've got Condola and the 2 girls at the grocery store. Mind you, that was the same grocery store when he met those 2 women. That was the same grocery store that Issa and Molly had the fight at. It was like a Bristol Farms. And I think it like clicked for me, like, oh my God. Because it was such a weird, irrational argument. It was such an unnecessary argument that he had with Condola that I was like, oh my God. Every relationship he's had since then has been like trying to get over Lawrence. It's been spelled out much clearer on Issa's end.
But see, I look at it a little bit different.
Okay.
I look at it, one, that the show's called Insecure. We're seeing an insecure individual. Right. Now, I do think there's a certain level of trying to get over Issa, but I think a lot of that just showed some of male insecurity. And that's how it comes out throughout all his relationships of,
he's human.
Just being insecure about who he is and being a man who's coming out of a long-term relationship, not knowing how the game is, like not knowing how to play things, not knowing how to react. In the kitchen, I thought he was valid in saying, in trying, a lot of this is how you say things. I thought he was valid in saying, he thought they were in a relationship. So you add that to the fact that your drunk homegirl basically said, oh, she's just trying to get over somebody. She's just trying to have fun. You're good for that. And she never wants to get married. So now he's like, okay, what am I? And that immediately you have to say, yo, what am I to you? Now, the way he did it wasn't the way you do it. Like, you don't talk to somebody like that. But
he completely erased everything that they've been to each other in the relationship and decided to jump on this 5-second conversation that he had with her, obviously wasted off of her behind friend. Their relationship has not at all spoke to him in a way that said that she was trying to get over her ex-husband.
Drunk mouth speaks truth. If a drunk friend,
but honestly, if my drunk friend can get you to overthink every single thing, like we've been dating for a few months, and everything about our relationship can just be wiped out because of 5 seconds that you have with my drunk friend, it can wipe out everything that you've had with me and what I've shown you. You're out of line. He was out of line.
Yes, he was out of line, but so was Condola. Like, You're
Right.
not giving
Right.
like
We didn't get
you
there
gotta
yet,
think to
though.
yourself.
We didn't get there yet.
She was like, they were like, yo, we're not in it, because it's, to me, it's all about multiple things. Like if one thing happens, you could shrug it off and say that's nothing. But when multiple signs are shown to you, like in anything in life, that's when you should take it serious and react. When a man shows multiple signs of cheating, you should pay attention. One little thing, you may be bugging.
Right.
So in his mind, they're in a full-blown relationship. So then
Which is weird because this was literally what he did to Tasha.
Yes.
She made an assumption based on an action that hadn't been met with a conversation.
That's fact.
He's making an assumption based on actions that haven't been met with a conversation.
Yeah, but if we were going to kill Lawrence for how he treated Tasha, then the same has to go for Condola with how.
But she hasn't treated Lawrence bad. That's the thing. This is based on the drunk conversation with her friend. She's been good to Lawrence.
No, but from my understanding, that how I took the end of the relationship, the episode, that she wasn't taking him to be in a serious relationship. This was more a casual situation. If that's the case, she led him on to think it was a serious relationship.
I don't think at all in that conversation she ever said to him that this was something casual. She absolutely denied what her friend said. He asked her and she said no. Okay. He asked her, is that what you think of me? And she said no.
But in
their relationship, she has acted like she takes him seriously. She talked to Issa about liking him.
That's true.
She really likes him. She's talked to Issa about liking him. The way she treats Lawrence has been like she takes him seriously. He asked her point blank. She admitted that she takes him seriously. I mean, there's nothing.
But that's the thing. When you have multiple things, like I said before, that may make you think. So the multiple things, like I was saying before, is she says she never wants to get married. That's fine. That's one thing. But that doesn't mean you're not in a serious relationship. I get that.
They're not in a serious relationship because they are not in a relationship. They're dating and she takes him serious. But they are not in a relationship.
That needs to be clear, bro. But let me finish my point. That needs to be clear, because that's two different things. So she thinks y'all are dating and it's serious. He thinks you're in a relationship. That's a big difference. But let me finish the point.
It's unfair for him to think that without ever bringing that up to her.
Okay. That's
not okay.
That's fine.
They haven't had a conversation about being exclusive. They haven't had a conversation about being together. He can't put that on her as if she's doing something wrong.
But the way things are starting to be presented, you got to let me get to my second and third point.
You're right.
The way things are being presented makes him feel that it is just casual. So you have that, which is, like I said, that's fine. But that's in his head now.
The marriage.
So the second thing is a drunk friend, and many people believe drunk mouths speak sober truths.
If
so
she's yes.
The drunk friend is like, this is happy. She is making it seem, hey, she's not fully over her ex. This is the first relationship. I'm glad she's doing this. This is something to get her mind off it and to be fun. Oh, okay. That's two things that strike me in the back of my head, right? And then now when we have this conversation in what sparked the argument, so you had two things in your head, and what sparked the argument was you invited yourself. And like I said before, whenever someone says that, it makes an individual feel like, wait, you trying to say I forced myself? Like that?
No, you're right. Okay, so you're right. The way she
all
said
three of those things make you go, wait, hold up, what we doing here?
Yeah.
All three of those things in his mind makes him go, wait, let's talk. What we doing here? Am I a plaything? What you mean? I forced my, you know what I mean? Like that's where the mind was. Again, those two things alone, and that argument never happens. But when she throws a third thing in there, then and again, I want to make it clear. I think he's wrong for how he came at her.
Okay.
I'm only saying I understand why it happened.
But it only happened based on his insecurities, because you can find three little like red flags that he does have to twist and turn in order to fit into this puzzle. And what you can't just the same with what, like my argument with Molly versus Andrew was that like she picked on these little things, these little imperfections, and it blew up because it was like, well, whoa, what about everything else? Like, we're good. They're great. And he chose to really, these weren't red flags. Like, her drunk friend can just not be a red flag. Because as much as like a drunk mind seeks sober thoughts, her friend is not in that relationship. Her friend cannot talk about their relationship to a stranger better than Condola can talk to her man. So her drunk friend does not count. That was just Lawrence. Lawrence needed that.
It's a red flag. It's a red flag.
The not wanting to get married thing has nothing to do with how serious she takes him. That actually is, it could just be a deal breaker for him. And that's his decision to make. Like, if you want to seriously date somebody that you know won't want to marry you because that's just not what they want to do. Yeah. But that has nothing to do with about how she feels about him.
Well, when you
invited yourself was a dig. It was a dig. It was weird.
But that's the thing. When you had 3, 4, 5 things, then it started to be like.
But I'm pointing out that there were literally 0 things. He's just overthinking stuff. He was rude to her.
Those are things. The drunk friend, that's gonna bother you a little bit. That's gonna bother anybody. I don't care what they say. That's gonna bother you a little bit. So when you combine all things, it's gonna be like, all right. And see, I feel like the correct conversation is, again, this is all about communication and how you communicate. We in that business, right?
Right.
So the correct thing for Lawrence would have been like, hey, here's what happened. What are we? That would have been the correct way. That's what he was trying to do, and said it in a foul way where Condola was 100% correct to go back at him like, well, what are you doing? Well, are you over Issa? So I understand Lawrence is wanting to have clarity on exactly what they are. And that's what he wanted. But he went about it in a terrible, in a poor way, just like everyone on this show is doing. Molly, Issa, like they all have
points. Like, correct. We don't gotta pad Lawrence's bad stuff with everybody else bad too. That's your problem.
Which I'm saying, that's the theme of the show. Everybody's bad
imperfect.
Huh?
Is that everybody's imperfect?
Bad communication, specifically.
Okay, I'll respect that. I get that. I think they both have insecurities in the relationship. Him and Issa have this, when they're in a good space, they enjoy each other. There's a part of them that enjoys each other. She happened to walk up on it. It was a really awkward moment. It was awkward for everybody, though. Issa had to take her food to go, and I think she stole the restaurant's tray.
That was hilarious.
It was amazing.
Issa, to stay.
No, I was just wrapping up, getting ready to go. Issa, your food is ready for here?
For here, yeah. Like, okay.
But I don't know. I just think Lawrence is not over Issa. He was projecting. He's not over Issa. He has been operating as if like, oh, forget her, bump her, I'm done with her. And everybody has been like encouraging that because you want to like support your friend who is, and also like you don't want to like be calling your friend like lame, like he can't get over this girl who was raggedy to him. But he is not over Issa, and he was projecting, and he's been projecting in how he like lashes out at these women.
I don't think he's projecting. I just think he's insecure.
I think Condola is 100% over her ex-husband. She has not shown him in any way that she has not. On the other hand, Lawrence has kind of given her a weird inkling that maybe like something's still there.
I guess that's because we see the relationship. We don't see the ex-husband, so we have no, the show doesn't show that dynamic.
There is no dynamic. That's the point that I'm making. There literally is no dynamic.
Well, her ex-husband isn't a star on the show, so how would we
know?
No,
her ex-husband is not a star in her life.
We don't know that yet.
Yes, we do.
I think we will see that later on, if it's clear or not.
You think we're going to see Condola's ex a little bit?
Like, I think what they're going to show, I think eventually they'll get to a conversation, a clear-cut conversation about all of this. Okay. And Condola will flat out say whether or not she's over things or not. She may be over her ex, but not ready to be seriously in a dating pool. Who knows?
I think you're just giving so much energy to so much benefit of the doubt to Lawrence. I think that entire conversation was based on Lawrence's space in life right now. And then to further prove my thought process correct, the last scene of the episode was, I don't think I have ever seen a better song placement in any movie, TV show ever. Because one, you have to know the song and know the name of the song.
Yeah.
And it happened right at the perfect moment. He sends her a little DM. And honestly, listen, like, somebody DMing you on Instagram, somebody like sending you an emoji on Instagram, does not mean that like they're in love with you or you guys are going to get married. But in that moment, with everything that was happening in their situation, we were supposed to take something from that.
Yeah. Well, it might be just the fact
that DM, like a little laughing emoji.
Yeah, and it might just be the fact that when things were going a certain way in your life and you're not feeling it,
right?
You go back to what feels comfortable.
For sure.
And that's why Issa was. You saw the bubbles of her responding immediately.
Wait, I missed that.
You didn't go back. Lawrence Rice does the emojis, and the bubbles pop up right away on the IG to say she's writing.
But did we see Issa's? Because when you send an emoji on that part, you don't see the other person's conversation when you send it that way.
No, it says, you know how one side is your stuff and the other side is the other person's stuff.
Yeah.
It said Lawrence had the smiley face thing, the thing laugh. And on the other side, it was the bubbles. The bubbles started.
Oh, so they went to Issa's screen, and I totally
she was. I don't know if it was whose screen it was, but I think it was Lawrence's screen still, because it's the bubbles on the left side. However,
no, because when you send a response to a story, it doesn't go to the thread that you're talking about. No, it doesn't go to anything.
Okay.
You just stay in the story. So it goes to the next person's stories. It doesn't go to the message thread. So does that make sense? I have to go back.
It does go to the message thread.
No, it doesn't.
I think.
No, it doesn't. When you send a reaction emoji, it doesn't.
It doesn't go to the message?
Don't make me pull out my Instagram and show you. No, it doesn't.
It does. I'm looking at mine.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I got a Droid, so maybe that's the difference.
Look, my friend posted a message. I'm going to send him heart eye emoji because it looked like he's saying something powerful. It does it, and then boom.
I have a Droid, so maybe it's different.
Yeah, and that's one of the worst things about you, but...
You hater. Because I'm looking at our messages, and there was a response to the post.
We're talking about this.
But anyway,
I missed that scene. Whoever's
there are bubbles to indicate that Issa's writing back. So go back.
I think I was so into the song, and it was the end of the episode that I totally missed that. Okay. Yeah.
But we do have to say before we hang up, okay. I guess the most powerful quote from the joint that everybody was talking about was I think you said this last week was when Issa was like, Condola's benefiting from a man that I think I created. I forgot the exact word.
Basically, like she's benefiting from like the work that I put in.
Yes. What was your reaction?
I think that is an honest feeling. You don't have any say in the game based on that. Yeah. But that's probably a very honest feeling. Like if you date somebody when they're, building and they're kind of awful, and then all of a sudden they become this guy who is built and is a gift giver and a date goer and of all of this, like, that's why, but here's the thing, women should not date men based on what they think they can become. And I'm not talking about finances or job. I'm talking about like sometimes women date guys who aren't the guy that they want to date. So if you want somebody who takes you out on dates and who brings you flowers and who does this and who's supportive, don't date somebody who is not that in hopes that like he'll love you enough to become that. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? And I don't even think that was necessarily like Issa's intention. I think she happened to date a young guy who's just in that space. And also, you don't know. You see the highlights of like somebody else's relationship too. And so it just like compounds like how easy it is to feel that. But he is in a better place. And I do think he learned from his aspect of the problems in Issa's relationship. And I think that we've talked about it, that like we think that like Lawrence was battling at least some sort of, at the very least, like, like situational depression, and it wasn't in a good place. And he doesn't aspire to be that guy. And now he's got a job. He's happier. He also learned from how he treated Tasha. Mm-hmm. That was also like a lesson. And I think that he doesn't want to be that. He was trying to learn from how he was treating Tasha while in the thing with Tasha. And then in that, he kind of realized that, oh, it's just that I don't really like her.
Yeah.
But
he was bad at dating.
Right. But yeah, so he wants to be like a better guy. He wants to be a guy who takes his girl out on cute dates, and who is like who is kinder, who is more supportive, who's a better listener, who's more in tune with what's going in their life. And he was not that guy for Issa, and so that's a bummer for her, because she wants that guy, and I think she probably wanted Lawrence to be that guy.
Yeah.
She had, again, like she doesn't have a say in it.
I agree with with Issa 100%. Yeah. Like that's how you would feel, and that would be rough. I would say though, for the people who usually use it in the Twitter sphere, like I feel like people who normally use that line are people who aren't necessarily in a great space themselves. Like
right, like
they almost romanticize who they were in the relationship. Like let's not forget, you know, Issa had her own, because everyone looking at, oh, he's got a great job. You gotta like, Issa wasn't in the best job situation. She wasn't in the best this situation. So stop sort of doing that. Like at the same time, like in a 5-year relationship, if he was good for 4 years, like they said, or how many years, like, and they were probably benefiting each other, like just from like learning things in life.
Right.
And when you're in your 20s, you're building. That's what it is. We're both building as people, as relationships, as professionals. So yes, you 100% helped him on his way, on his growth, right?
I don't think that's how Issa was saying it. I don't think she was saying it in
no,
the way
I wasn't saying Issa. I wasn't saying Issa. I'm saying with a lot of the people who use it. Like, like, yes, Lawrence was just finished, but like she wasn't a finished product either. Like, and I would like to think if you were with him for 5 years and you say he was bad for a year, he helped you in certain processes too through those other years.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't think this is how Issa's looking at it whatsoever. I think that he very clearly learned from some of the poor aspects on his end of their relationship. He learned from the poor aspects on his end with the girl after her. He's a better person, maybe not perfect, obviously not perfect, but he is a better man to be in a relationship with than he was so many odd years ago. And that's a hope for anybody. That doesn't mean Issa built him, but yeah, he learned and grew, and he's different. And what he is now is a little bit of at least what she sees. It's easy to like romanticize that in your head and just be like, this is who I wanted you to be all along. And I don't even think she's like cheaply like saying it like that. But yeah, like it sucks for her to see him make somebody so happy when the last memory she has of him was he wasn't even attempting to make her happy. And that's a bummer to see. And especially because it's somebody that she genuinely likes and thinks deserves a good guy, and he's making her happy. Yeah. And even something little like she saw them on a date and he didn't take her on lunch dates. Like, it hurts your feelings. And I think she's human, and I think that would hurt anybody's feelings. She's not taking away from like his own personal growth or saying that she built that.
No.
That, hey, this sucks to see.
I know, I agree with her feelings, and I would feel the same way.
Me too.
I'm just saying, sometimes when we feel that way, we should reflect on the other end of it.
Okay.
Like, hey, yes, I built it. I didn't build this, but I helped you get to this person. I wish you were that person. Where you can say in the other end, because I have someone I'm thinking about right now who they broke up in this situation. She's like, I helped you get here. And then his response was, but she never talked about how I helped her this way, that way, and that way. Like, I helped her grow in this aspect. Like, so you're looking at me as a bum for the wrongdoing I did. And I know I learned from that, and you helped me through that. But don't act like I didn't help you through anything throughout our entire relationship.
I mean, I think we're doing a lot for just this one sentence that.
Oh, I was only taking shots at some women on Twitter. And if I'm being honest with you, some of you Twitter women are bums. Like, you can't even put that line up. Like,
we just couldn't have an episode.
Yeah, you know, if I want to get froggy,
The shirt wasn't enough.
No, if I want to get froggy,
get it out. We were sitting on it. We were holding it.
No. If I want to talk
our mind, okay, we've got our hat on backwards and it matches our shirt, and it wasn't enough.
Nah, bro. If I want to talk my talk, some of y'all are saying that and y'all was bums and y'all didn't help nothing. So take that. Like, what's up?
Get it out. Get it out.
I'm
get
just
it
saying.
out.
You know what?
Give them a script.
Help anything.
Give them a script.
And you're a bum.
Okay, let them know.
Look where you are in your life.
Let them know.
My bad. Am I projecting?
There wasn't enough, ladies and gentlemen.
Am I projecting?
I don't think you're projecting. I think personally, you're in a really great space in your life. I think you just enjoy the feeling you get when you turn your raggedy switch on.
My ratty switch?
Raggedy.
Oh,
switch.
Raggedy.
Like there's a switch and you flip it and it feels good for you.
So none of those women I was talking about are bums? Like none of them?
I think you're doing a lot right now.
I'm just saying none of them. So you side with all of them?
They also could be bots. You know what I'm saying?
Side with all of them?
I think you're doing a lot
they're not bots. They're not bots. I'm thinking of specific people I know.
I think you're doing a lot right now. This is what happens. We were agreeing too much.
Hey,
too much.
We don't cheat.
I wish I could hang up on you.
This ain't a phone line. I'm sorry.
Right. I wish I could hang up on you.
All right.
No, this is fun as always.
We'll see if they get together next week. See if
prediction.
where Lawrence goes.
This is gonna be a slow process, but Lawrence is not over Issa.
Oh no way. They're not over each other. I'm curious to see if
but she has been more open, which she has never been over Lawrence. She has been very actively trying to get over Lawrence.
Oh yeah, that's how men are. They don't realize that they're not over something until a year later.
Yuck.
Yeah, that's how they are. Like how Lawrence went through his thing, we broke up, I'm smashing everything, then I get in a relationship, like that's how it go for me.
And then
as opposed to women handle their feelings in a proper way right away, or at least most do. That's exactly how it goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they acknowledge it, they go through it, they take their time, at least most, and most men are like, pew, and then they go, man, I miss her, yo.
I love doing this with you, Sean. Okay, next episode, we'll see what happens.